Hello, I'm Tom Leach. With me is Tim Spiers. We're at Wolves' Compton training ground. We've just been speaking to Nuno ahead of tomorrow's trip to Wembley. That's a rare one. Doesn't happen very often, does it?
1988 was the last one. Yeah, I was sort of hoping that when Wolves got to Wembley, the new Wembley for the first time, it would be for a proper game. But no, an occasion to look forward to. Wolves take 3,000 fans, big stadium, big pitch, big occasion. They've enjoyed games like that this season. West Ham away, they won. Arsenal away, they drew. Man United away, they drew. So I think they'll embrace it.
I was saying to you, it's going to be a bit of a strange atmosphere in there, obviously, because it's not going to be, like you say, a 90,000 cup final. It's going to be sort of a half attendance kind of cup final against Spurs in a way.
Yeah, they've got reduced capacity. I think even Sunderland's got a higher attendance than Spurs the other day. So it will feel a bit strange in that regard. I guess it's not easy to spot on camera because they shut off the top tier. But one thing's for sure, the Wolves fans will make themselves heard and enjoy their day out. Yeah, we all will.
So in the opposition dugout then, it will be Pochettino, someone who Nuno just spoke very highly of in there, and probably the toughest opponents we could really face at the moment, aren't they?
I mean, incredible. 11 goals in 2 games. They are chasing Liverpool. They've become a title contender, playing some phenomenal stuff since that defeat, I think, to Arsenal in the league. They've gone on a blinding run. They got a draw at Barcelona to qualify in the Champions League. Beat Arsenal in the Carabao Cup, and the last 2 games they've hammered Everton and Bournemouth, 2 decent mid-table Premier League teams. 6-2 was it, the Everton game, and then 5-0 against Bournemouth the other day. It's not even all about Harry Kane either. It's Son is phenomenal at the moment. Eriksen, Dele Alli should be back, they think, on Saturday. So it's daunting. But Wolves have been here already this season. The 3rd game of the season they took on Man City, having only got 1 point from their first 2 games. They took on Man City and they got a point. They went to Old Trafford, they got a point. They went to Arsenal on the back of 2 or 3 defeats. And should have won that game. They should have beaten Arsenal. So Nuno says every team in this league is to be feared. But I think if Wolves can harness that fearless approach that they've taken into so many of their games this season, they've done very well against the big teams, then they can certainly cause Spurs some problems, however daunting the task may be.
There was some talk today about how Wolves obviously do kind of thrive against the bigger teams and struggle against the teams that are going to sit back, but that's something again that Nuno kind of refused to speak about again today.
Didn't like that one. It was put to him that Wolves struggle against teams that try and stop them playing. He said he thinks that's a cliche. He doesn't agree with that. He says every team's got a different style. Every team goes into every game to win it, he says. So he doesn't believe that Wolves are struggling against teams that try and stop them. I would respectfully say that results kind of prove otherwise, really. Yeah. And to be honest, 2 of his players, Conor Cody and Matt Doherty, said as much after the Fulham game, that they need to find solutions against teams that flood the midfield and stop them playing. But that's for another day, because Spurs won't try and do that at home, at Wembley. Obviously, it's a must-win game for them, and a game that they're expected to win, even though Wolves are in the top half of the table. So they've enjoyed themselves in games like this season, and the hope is that they can catch Spurs on a bit of an off day and do the same tomorrow.
Some selection news then, we'll talk through the team.
Yeah.
Some Diego Jota news, he's not 100%.
Sadly
guaranteed.
Not. Yeah, missed the last 2 games now, and they miss him. They do miss him. He was finally found his form, and was contributing goals and assists, and he's got this hamstring problem, and Nuno says he's not 100% yet, and he won't put him in unless he's 100%, which has been the Wolves' way actually with injuries under Nuno. They don't play under 23 games, they don't tend to blood them from the bench. It's all or nothing really, so they'll wait until he's 100%, and then we'll see him in the team hopefully before long. Elsewhere, he wouldn't be drawn on Dendoncker and Hawes. He was in a bad mood by the end of the press conference, and didn't want to talk about that. But I think they'll be okay. Well, I've seen Dendoncker; he's here today, so he's not in his sick bed. So hopefully they'll be back available in the squad. Team selection is going to be fascinating. I think a lot of managers would go there and sit and try and frustrate and keep a clean sheet and do the impossible. But Nuno has proven many times in the past he's not that type of manager. He will go there to attack Spurs. And anyone who was at the Emirates a few weeks ago, when, like I said, Wolves had lost 3 in a row, they went to Arsenal, they took them on, and they could have scored a hatful of goals that day. They went 3-4-3, two forwards or wingers, controversial topic at the moment, outside, either side of Raul Jimenez. It was Costa and Cavallero that day. And after Traore's duff performance at Fulham the other day, and Jota's injury, you'd expect Cavallero and Costa again. Get them high up the pitch, get them 1v1 versus Spurs' fullbacks, because obviously they're not going to double up, are they, and try and stop Wolves playing. So get them 1v1, try and isolate their defenders, and use their pace on the counter. It's been a tactic that's been employed well this season. They've been lacking a bit of end product in terms of goals and assists from these guys, but I think that's the approach he'll take tomorrow. And then the main selection really is in midfield, where Neves and Moutinho had the shirts for so long, but Roman Saiss has come in, added some steel, added some grit, and a bit more of a box-to-box player than we saw from him last season. He's doing very well, scored at Fulham the other day. I think he keeps his place for me. And then it's either Neves or Moutinho alongside. Moutinho was excellent at Fulham in the second half, completely ran the game. But can he cope with 4 games in 10 days or whatever it is? And will he bring Neves back in? That's the key. That's the interesting selection, really. But I think he'll go back to his tried and trusted flat 4-3-3 and go on the attack, and let's see what they can do.
Could be a very good day. You been Wembley before?
Been to Stone Roses gig, but not for a match. So no, looking forward to it. It will be a big occasion. And like I said, the Olympic Stadium. They went there at West Ham, big pitch, massive stadium, and they were fearless that day. And that's that. Wolves aren't. They don't go into their shells. They certainly tend not to anyway. So disappointing result for Fulham. The defeat against Spurs, against Liverpool before that. But I think they go there with confidence, looking to get a result. Let's see what they get. It could be a bit of a shootout. It could be a bit of a let's outscore each other. You never know. The way the Spurs are playing at the moment is phenomenal. Wolves aren't going to stop them scoring, but I'll back them to score at the other end.
Brilliant. So for the rest of the build-up, keep at expressandstar.com.